Hey y'all, it's John, aka Whisky and Sound, and I'm bringing another episode of Boilermaker Mondays. Tonight I'm going to be trialing a Boilermaker which is being paired up by guys at Whisky and Alement. Now, for those of you that don't know who Whisky and Alement are, they are a whiskey bar that's set up at 260 or 270 Russell Street in Melbourne, and they have a amazing selection of whiskey from all around the globe. They're massive supporters of Australian whiskey as well, which I give them a lot of credit for as well. Before the COVID-19 situation, they were big on their tastings. They have the Melbourne Whisky Room upstairs, which is also like Melbourne's home to Single Malt Whisky Society, or Scotch Malt Whisky Society. Sorry. um, but yeah, that's like the official tasting room in Melbourne as far as I know. And they have got a real awesome crew that's working there as well. They're well knowledgeable of their whiskies and just in general, like their alcohol, and quite respectful as well to all their peers that show up. And they're a pleasure to be around. Now, they are the reason why a lot of us whiskey enthusiasts have that joint as a second home because when we're not spending our money on whiskey at the tastings or at the bar, we're also spending our money online with these guys. Now, their online shop at the moment, they've got single bottles that you can buy. They've got tasting samples that you can purchase at 30 ml pours. They also have Boilermaker packs. So, which one day I will pick their brains on that one and do a show with them. So stay tuned for that. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got about 9 of their Boilermaker packs that I've got to go through yet, which I'm not going to go through all those, per episode, but I'm going to pick out a couple. And this one I thought was it's a quirky one, and it's one that I usually wouldn't go for, which is why I want to, show it on the show. And it's two beers, it's two products which I haven't had. The sour pale ale, which everyone knows my thoughts on that. It's something about sour ales I just can't. Yeah, I know. I'm going to give them a lot more of a go, so that way I can say that I've tried with them, and if I do get into them, then so be it. But I feel that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt a little while longer. For those that are into sour beers, I'm sorry, I've got a palate that's almost strictly set on stouts and porters, but I do my IPAs, my New England IPAs I love. So it's not that I just stick strictly to like my darker beers. I do drink other stuff as well, but just sours, I don't know. I think maybe the first couple that I had were a bit nah, not for me. But anyway, we are gonna give it the benefit of the doubt tonight. So we've got one from the States, which has been picked out by the boys at, I think Lachlan from Whisky and Alement picks out these beers. And then Julian maybe pairs them up, or Lockie organises it. I'm pretty sure Julian White does the Boilermaker pairings. But I'll get them boys to confirm that one for us. So this is called Blue Hour. Blue Hour. This is what happens when I don't have my glasses on. I really should put them on, but they're floating around the house somewhere. Anyway, so Blue Owl Brewing, which is in the States, Spirit Animal Sour Pale Ale. Now, I'm expecting, a real. Well, who am I kidding? I'm expecting a real sour hit. Well, I'm expecting a whole heap of citrus on there. So, in what way it goes, really, I'm not too sure. It just says sour mashed Austin, Texas, which is so that's where that comes from. Dry hopped, citrus, and sparkles. Okay, so expecting a citrusy bomb. All right, the whiskey that they've paired it back with is a Blair Athol 12-year-old hidden spirit. So independent bottling, and they're the 30 ml pours that these things come in. The little juice bags that they have. And they're pretty cool. So Now they've got a little side note here saying lemon tart and shortbread. So, all right, that's what I can expect. Let's run with that. We'll see if what they actually say is is what I get on the palate. So now Blair Athol, I really haven't had a lot of, so I'm not too sure what to expect. I get told that it's quite savoury, or like it's a real meaty kind of whiskey, and they tend to use Blair Athol in blends more often than their single like their single malt original bottlings. So, but they do tend to get picked up by independent bottlers. Not that often, but yeah, Hidden Spirits, which is um, uh, Whisky and Alement, they are the sole distributors for Hidden Spirits in Australia, and they are a Italian independent bottler. So they get their hands on some pretty cool stuff. Now I've got high expectations because Hidden Spirits have well, they've come up with some epic bottlings, and for those that I'll see if you can see the top shelf there. Yes, I have some more bottles up there. Right, around there, actually both 1 and 2, opposite way, John, opposite way, is a 21-year-old Ben Nevis bottling. The other two on the other side there, that side, they are a 13-year-old Ben Nevis bottling and a 12-year-old Lechig bottling. And there's another, I think that's a 10-year-old Lechig bottling from Hidden Spirits as well. So I've got quite a few bottles from them. I do love their independent bottling releases. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what the outcome is with this one. Right, so all's been poured. That's got a funky nose on it. Well, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a trip of a Boilermaker, I can see right now. But anyway, here we go. Okay, well, it's not too brutal of a sour, I've got to say, on my nose, but we'll see what it does on the palate. Now, I haven't had any sours from overseas as yet. I've had local sours, haven't had international sours. So, Texan sour pale ale, see how that goes. That is really bloody different. That was not what I was expecting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's actually really refreshing sour pale ale to drink. Um, doesn't have like a doesn't have a massive like sour finish on it. Like the hops come out towards the end, which is really nice. Um, that's actually really okay. I can actually get into that. Funnily enough, probably notice that I'm approaching it with caution. All right, I can already see the angle of where the lemon tart's going to come in from, and the shortbread. So that's probably going to be how. I don't know. Well, let's see what we've had the beer wash now. Let's do a whiskey rinse and see what that does. Now I haven't given this much airtime in the glass, so this is probably going to be that Boilermaker that I'll sit on for a bit and see what it does in the glass and over time. Running out of breath nosing this thing. Yeah, there is a bit. There's a bit happening in this, that's for sure. Does have a real savoury note. It's not. It's like a like yeah, you get that malt drive. Um, like yeah, it's a malt driven nose that you get, but it's what's that? There's a there's a funky savoury note that I pick up on this. So yeah, it's really what what is it? It's still my head in. I mean, I'm getting like sweet, like real light, citrusy ethers on the nose here, but there's a big savory note, and it's almost like a yeah, like it is a meaty savory note, which it's almost like those cold cut meaty notes. I'm just trying to think of what meat it is. Anyway, I'll get my palate introduced to it and then see what it does. Anyway, I'll probably pick up more on the nose as I'm going along with this Boilermaker. So let's give it a quick wash again, and then we'll have a sip. So all right. Wow. Yeah, what that does on the palate, what it's got in the like on the nose already, two different things. Now I know that's not just the influence from the beer, but that's a very crisp, fruity, like very citrusy whiskey, and very buttery as well. Very buttery, which I get where the shortbread element is coming from. The lemon tart, yeah, that makes sense because it's very lemon meringue. So I get why he's put them together. So it was, yeah, it's actually a really nice pairing. So hats off to you, Jules or Lockie, whoever put these two together. That's actually not a bad pairing. And they're big. They are like they're big items. Like this is a solid whiskey. Like there's a bit happening with it, and pairing it with something as yeah as big as a sour ale, where like it's not just a like an easygoing calm the storm kind of beer. It's fresh, it's lively, it's bubbly, so um, sparkling as they suggest. So yeah, there's a lot going on with yeah the sour pale ale to begin with. Whereas yeah um, this 12-year-old Hidden Spirits is actually really bloody nice. Yeah, like there's that savory. That's it's a real savory note that you get on this. But yeah, heaps of butter and heaps of citrus. Um, Granny Smith apples is probably what I'm picking up on as well. It's not orange peel. It's more like lemon tart. And I'm going to use those words because it's it. I've seen it, so it's very. I know whiskey is very subjective and very influential. You can if I give you these words, like if I tell you these words, they're gonna be stuck in your head, and that's all that you're gonna be thinking about if you try to pair this back with that spirit. But if you know, if I wasn't given anything to work with, then I'd have to think up all this stuff myself, which I probably wouldn't have gone to that exact angle. But knowing that they've said that, like the lemon is definitely there. It's lemon kind of zest, not an orange. Like it doesn't have a bitter note to it. It's crisp. It's sweet. So very buttery actually. The more I'm smelling it, but yeah, there's that savory element on the back end. It's not. Oh, maybe maybe it's maybe it is briny. Maybe it is a bit briny. Not crazy kind of like a. It's not like it's sea kissed or anything, but it's like there's definitely that salty briny element there, but really small hint of it. So, but it's enough to give it um, that that savory note. Nose is really coming good now. So the more it's getting a bit of airtime in the glass, this is actually a really nice whiskey. sitting there just chewing it for a bit, don't mind me. It's actually really, really chewy whiskey on the palate. It's really oily, coats the palate so bloody well. Um, and the finish on it is epic. It's got that smoky element as well on the back end, which I didn't actually get on the beer wash, whiskey rinse. So now that I've gone whiskey, man, the finish is still bloody going. This is actually really nice whiskey. And they had a bottle of this too. Bloody hell, I'm spewing, didn't pick it up. Yeah, that is a really good whiskey. I'm so impressed with that. Right, let's rinse that down with the beer and see what effects that has now compared to the beer wash whiskey rinse. We'll see what it does the other way around. Oh yeah, loads of lemon. Loads of lemon. That's where now it's just so sour driven. The I'm actually liking how this is all evolving. This is pretty cool. Yeah, this is such a well paired Boilermaker. Yeah, hats off to the crew at Whisky and Alement, that's for sure. This is actually really nice. So, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this one. Very impressed with this one. Had I known it was going to be like this, I would have grabbed myself a couple more of these Boilermakers. Anyway, all good. So, well, you know what? That just shows to me that these guys, they know what they're on about as far as Boilermakers are concerned, like their pairings. I wouldn't mind picking their brains about it though, and seeing how they go about doing their pairings, whether they just wing it or whether like they'll trial out and think, yep, sweet, I know what I can pair this back with, what kind of elements they look at with trying to pair it back with, whether they're looking for like a contrast or a complement. This to me is a bit more of a complement. There's a bit of citrus happening, and there's that buttery element. So it is essentially a lemon tart shortbread kind of pairing. So really well put together. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night for this one. So thanks all for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week for another episode of Boilermaker Mondays.